Hello everybody, welcome to another installment of Life Stories. My name is Trent and I hope you guys are doing awesome as always. Today we got stories coming at you fast from Reddit/entitledparents. So, without further ado, let's get it started. Our first story of the day is titled, Entitled Grandma Makes My Birthday Miserable. The title is just the tip of the iceberg with this woman, but I'm going to try and keep this to just my last time going to see her. Upon starting this, I realized that this could be broken into many stories, so depending on how this goes, I'll add more about the trip. For this one, I'll focus on the day of my birthday, and the events relating to it. This story may end up being a bit long, so the title is probably a good summary for it. For context, the entitled grandma is my mother's biological mother. My mom was put up for adoption at birth, and found her when she was 26 years old, aka didn't raise her. I say this because even 26 years later, she doesn't know how to deal with her mom's entitledness, as they are cordial at best. My grandma also has two sons whom she kept, U1 and U2. U1 isn't in this story, but maybe in a later one. Things to note. My birthday is 2 days before Christmas, and I love to celebrate it with whomever I can. This trip was a weekend and a half long and spanned my birthday, Christmas, and New Year's. So this is smack dab in the middle of the stay, so other things have happened between me and my grandma before this. My mom warned me before we left that U2 had a very mean dog. I thought she was exaggerating because I loved animals and they tended to love me. My mom also warned me that my grandma's family doesn't really celebrate birthdays. They may do a card, but they don't really do parties. I was okay with that since I only wanted a cake and to get to visit with the family. On to the story. So, a few years ago, my mom told me that my grandma had invited her to visit for Christmas. She was hesitant to go because she does not like to travel alone. I said that I could go with her if she wanted. She said she didn't have enough money to pay my way, but would love for me to go. I had enough in savings and said that I would go with her. I requested off work and she helped me book my ticket. I hadn't seen my grandma in 5 years or so I was excited to go, especially since Mom said I'd get to meet her other family that lived in the state that I hadn't met before. So, from the start of the trip, my grandma and I started having conflicts. U2 has a demon dog. I wish I were exaggerating, and my grandma had decided that the only reason the dog doesn't like me is because of my voice. She said this one morning when I had woken up, walked to the couch, sat down without saying anything, and got greeted with born teeth and snarls from this animal. After that, I refused to say anything around this dog and just avoided it as much as possible. So, on the 21st, my grandma took my mom and I shopping with her to get some stuff for a Christmas Eve party she was hosting. While they were shopping, I went over to look at the cakes. I found one that I loved on their display, and asked if they could make me one for my birthday. I asked for a cake with snowflakes on it, made of whipped icing. This'll be important later. With my name written on it. After placing the order, I ran excitedly to tell my mom. My grandma heard that I had ordered a cake and scoffed and said, "The birthday person shouldn't order their own cake." Skip forward to the 23rd, my birthday, and my mom and grandma go out early to do some last-minute shopping and to pick up my cake. I sleep in a bit and read for a while until they get back. When they got back, I decided that I wanted to play outside in the snow and visit with U2, who was shoveling. I go out there and start balling up snow in hopes of making a snowman. No sooner do I finish making the initial snowball when the demon dog starts running up, barking, and snarling at me, looking at the snowball. I look toward the house and see that my grandma had let him outside. I go to put him back inside so I can play without having to watch him. My grandma promptly pushes him back out, saying that she's cleaning for tomorrow. So now I have this demon dog growling at me. I figured he wanted to play ball and threw the snowball. He runs after it, and I start to make another snowball. Well, Demon Dog realizes he can't find it and sees a new snowball and comes running back, growling again, wanting the ball. I threw that one too, and rinse and repeat for about 15 minutes when I can't take it anymore and try to go inside. My grandma shoos me out because of her cleaning and won't let me away from this dog. I try to get my mom to help out, and she gives me a helpless look because she doesn't really know how to deal with her mom. I end up getting my uncle to help me, and he makes the dog sit by him while he shovels, and I run to the backyard to try and hide. A while later, my grandma finally lets me back inside. She tells me that we're going to a thing at her church later that evening and to dress nice. I go and get ready, and we head to the church. The church thing was alright, but very boring, and I ended up getting a bit of a nap during it. Afterward, she gets snarky with me about it, but I didn't really care. It happens. On the way home, I look at the Christmas lights as we drive past and try to think positive, since it's my birthday after all. When we get home, I go out to get my cake, which has been put in an inconvenient part of the fridge, since my grandma was making room for tomorrow's stuff. I found out later that my grandma had seen it in there and scoffed that it shouldn't be in there, and that my mom had to remind her that it was my birthday and would be eaten that night. I managed to get the cake out and get the fridge back in order, and then my mom puts candles, and her, my grandma, and uncle start singing. I blow out the candles, and we cut up the cake and start eating. I eat a slice or two, and my grandma kinda nibbles at hers and then says, "I don't know why you got whipped icing. We only eat buttercream here." I shrug it off as she starts going off about how my birthday was a huge inconvenience for the next day as it was making a mess, taking up the fridge, etc. Between that and the demon dog, I decided that I was not choosing grandmas for any more birthdays. And I guess we'll never know why she hated whipped icing that much. Huh, how petty. Moving along, our next story is titled, A Brief Encounter with a Karen at the IKEA Restaurant. So, today, my husband took me shopping at IKEA for some random items we needed but were unable to get due to previous public gathering restrictions. We decided to make a day out of it and grab lunch at the IKEA restaurant while we were at it. Now, for clarification, due to COVID-19, there are certain rules and procedures to be followed in IKEA, meaning that now you stand in queue first to get your table number, then move to order and go take your designated seat, and one of the servers wheels your food to you. All's fine and dandy, we stand in line to get our table number. Though the queue is kind of long, and we are considering scrapping this idea to go eat elsewhere. Right next to the window is a giant menu with items offered in the IKEA restaurant. The usual meatballs, salmon, salads, and the like. In front of us stands a Karen, with a kid in a stroller, which looked to be around 4 years old. Karen stares at the menu and looks over at the restaurant employee handing out table numbers. "Do you have any chicken McNuggets?" she says. Nothing but silence. The employee is staring at her. We're staring at her. God and evolution are arguing in the background about whose fault this brain fart is, given that they are usually not served here at all, and the giant picture menu is quite clear on that subject. Not to mention that McNuggets are kind of a different restaurant chain's gig. The employee says, No, we don't. I'm sorry." "You don't? What kind of kid-unfriendly restaurant is this? My child doesn't want to eat anything on your menu." "I'm sorry, ma'am. The menu you see to your left is all that's offered." Karen huffs, grabs the table number, and moves forward. The employee glances over at us, gives us a table number, and goes, "Oh, pardon me. Madam is pregnant. You don't wait. Please, just step here to the side and follow my colleague. He'll take you to the register so you can order." Karen's head whips around so fast I thought it might fall off. Her face is a picture of shock and unjust treatment. She glares at my 8-month pregnant belly, then at the employee, and screeches, "I have a child as well." The employee, now with another one in tow, stares at her blankly and goes, "Yes, but your Madam here is pregnant." I can sense him struggling not to say, "Well, you pushed yours out a while ago, didn't you?" As we leave with the other server, I can still hear her in the background, arguing that she has a child and should be given the same treatment as a pregnant woman, while the IKEA employee is still patiently trying to explain to her that it's company policy that disabled people and pregnant women have the right to cut the queue, and unless her or her son is disabled, or she herself is pregnant, she can't cut in. 20 minutes later, we are done our food, and we stand up to leave. I spot Karen still in queue, third in line from the register, glaring at us. I resist the urge to wave and just pat my belly happily, then waddle away with my husband. I have no doubts that IKEA is getting a bad review on Yelp or something due to not serving McNuggets and not letting her entitled self cut in line, even though she played the child card fairly early on. Hey man, listen, I don't know what to tell you, but if you raise a kid that doesn't like those IKEA Swedish meatballs, you messed up somewhere, because those things are so good. Come on, man. And with that story out of the way, we are unfortunately out of time for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank all of you so much for tuning into Life Stories. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Reddit content coming your way fast. My name is Trent, and I hope to see you guys soon.